the most longest work day. You guys can't believe. Hi, Robin. Mm, mm, mm. Nightmare. It's been a while, huh? Oh, thank you so much for the head redeem shorts. Mm, mm. Hi, darkness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy to see you guys tonight. Thank you for always coming through. I really do appreciate it. Every time I stream, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like I'm not as important. But I know I shouldn't have that type of mindset. But yeah, today was really rough. So I wanted to do a little bit of reading. Have a chill stream. I know last stream I also did some soft spoken ASMR. But and I was very sussy, but I'll try not to be too sussy. um, as you can tell, I'm also going to read some fairy tale stories. Because like it's bedtime, and your mama sun goddess is here to guide you to sleep. Um, but yeah. Okay, let's see. But I hope you guys are doing well. And hope you have the most sweetest of dreams because you deserve it, sweet sunshine. Don't worry, Artemis is here. Actually, she's moderating, I believe, but no worries, she is here. Um, but yeah, let's see. We are going to start with a lovely story, with the most classic of stories. Let's read pasa nada. Fire. Thank you for that, pet virus. Thank you. Mi mama duck. Hablo poco inglés. Está bien, problema. Por favor, dormís bien con mi stream vivo. Voy a hablar poquito español. Si puedo hablar español. Yo bien, pero si puedo hablar. A mama duck set her nest. How long must I wait for my babies to hatch? She said, I have to stay here all alone, and no one comes to visit me. But what could she do? Bueno, sí. Palama, Adrian, Palama. But what could she do? A mama duck must keep her eggs warm till they hatch. At least, the eggs began to crack, one by one. Yellow ducklings stepped out of their shells. They shook their wings and said, quack, quack, quack. Hi, Madora. Look at all of you, said the mama duck with joy. You are all so cute. Mr. Duck. Hey, yo. Do that. Quack, they said. Mama duck said, come and light up. Thank you so much for the follow, but there's a car right now, hold on. Hi Spencer, I'm doing ARP, your guiding key. Yo estoy muy bien, soy cansada, pero yo quería streaming ahorita en la noche porque yo extraño a mis amigos y ustedes. Tener buenas noches. Gracias por venir otra vez. Also, thank you so much for this resubscription. Mama Duck said, come and line up. We will go down to the lake for your very first swim. Oh, no, disculpa. Some guy just left. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, no. Pirates, congratulations. You're back. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, I hope you feel better soon, sunshine. Ahorita no voy a ir, disculpa. Solo estoy diciendo que yo soy cansada, pero no mucho cansada. Porque yo quería leer historias para ustedes. We will go down to the lake for your very first swim, she counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, don't worry, only thinks that. Oh, perdóname. No, está bien. Oh dear, she said. I should have 6 ducklings. Yuki, hi. Welcome, welcome. But one large egg was still on the nest. Well, said Mama Duck, it looks like that big egg will take more time. She had to go sit, Brooke, but it was worth it. Aw, Yuki, you're too calm. She had to go sit on her nest again and wait some more. The next day, the big egg started to hatch. Hi, Cammy. Mwah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Out came a baby boy bird. But, if one may say so, it was an odd-looking thing. The bird was much bigger than the others. He was not yellow at all. Don't worry, Yuki. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate it. ¿Vives de hacer stream o tras de otra cosa? Oh, yo trabajo otra cosa. Tengo un otro trabajo. Y streaming es para cuando yo tengo tiempo libre. Como ahorita. Yo se puedo streaming en la noche. So por eso ahorita yo estoy haciendo eso ahorita. Oh, Carla, you're making me blush. It's up to you, sunshine. Ah, qué bueno, sí. Gracias. He was not yellow at all. He was dark gray from head to his feet. And he walked with a funny wobble. One of the yellow ducklings pointed. What is that? He cannot be one of us. I have never seen such an ugly duckling, said another. How can you say such a thing? Said Mama Duck in a stern voice. You are only 1 day old. Your brother hatched from the very same nest as you did. Now line up. We will go to the lake for your very first swim. Yet the other ducklings quacked. Ugly, ugly, ugly. The ugly duckling did not know why the other ducklings were yelling at him. He took the last spot in the line. That's fucked up. I don't like that. How dare they? Each yellow duck jumped in the river and swam behind Mama Duck. When it was his turn, the ugly duckling jumped in and started to paddle too. At least he can swim, Mama Duck said to herself. When they left the water and started to play, the ugly duckling tried to play with his brothers and sisters too. They yelled, Go away! We will not play with you. You are ugly and you walk weird too. ¿Cómo se dice cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás en inglés is how are you? How are you? Oh, I feel bad for the duckling. When Mama Duck was close by, she would not let them talk in this way. Be nice, she would scowl, but she was not always close by. One day, one of the... No problema. Gracias para venir otra vez. One day, one of the yellow ducklings said to the ugly duckling, You know what? You would do us a big favor if you just went away from here. All of them started to quack. Get out. Now. Get out. Get out. 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 Why won't they let me stay here? Said the ugly duckling to himself. He hung his head down low. Ah, you're right. I should go. No, don't listen to them. That night, the ugly duckling flew over the farmyard fence. He flew till he landed on the other side of the lake. There he met two grown-up ducks. Can I please stay here for a while? Said the ugly duckling. I have nowhere else to be. What do we care? Said one of the ducks. Just don't get in our way. Woof, 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 woof. Suddenly, a big, hungry dog came tearing up, chasing the two ducks. They quickly flew up in the air, and the first fell down on the ground. ¿De dónde eres? Que hablas muy buen. Gracias. Ahorita no quiero decir que en serio yo quiero solo hacer la pala. So, disculpa, pero yo nací, hablando español en la casa. So, por eso yo sí puedo hablar español. No, bueno, pero yo sí puedo entender. Hi, Asri HD. It's so good to see you. The poor ugly duckling froze in fear. The duck sniffed and sniffed. The dog at the ugly duckling then turned away. No, estás bien, no problema. Gracias para venir, no problema. I am too ugly to even for the big hungry dog to want, said the ugly duckling with his head hung low. The sky turned dark. A bolt of lightning, then came a big storm with heavy rains. Pouring down from the sky, in just moments, the ugly duckling was soaked through. Hi, Golden. It's so good to see you again. And through. Then a cold wind started to blow. He sat with both wings held close to his chest. If only there was a place I could get dry. All at once, a tiny light blinked far off in the woods. Could it be someone's hut? He flew to the door. Quack! Went the ugly duckling. The door of the hut creaked open. What is all this noise? Said an old woman, looking right and left. Her eyes were not that good. Then she looked down. Ah, look at that. It's a duck. She picked up the ugly duckling and dropped him inside her hut. You can stay here, but only if you lay eggs, she said. A tomcat, then and hen, crept up to the ugly duckling. Who do you think you are, coming in here and taking up room by the fire? Said the tomcat. Said the hen. I do not need anyone else in this hut laying eggs. Do not worry about that, said the ugly duckling. I am a boy duck. That's so cute. Then why are you still here? Said the tomcat. Did you not hear the old woman said? Lillian, hi. So good to see you. Appreciate you coming through. I hope you're doing well. Ya me estoy cuidando, durmiendo y es que estoy entendiendo un poco. Oh, no puedes dormir, Adrian. Por favor, dormís bien. Yo estoy aquí, no problema. Por favor, acuéstaste. Está bien, está bien. Buenas noches. Buenas. Gracias para venir. Lillian, I am doing lovely. I'm actually just reading some ASMR story time because it's been a very hectic day and I feel like chat deserves a little relaxation. I hope you're doing well though. Angel. Mwah. Mwah. Oh, well, don't worry. I'm here to save the day. I'm here to guide you to relaxation. Relaxation. I am reading The Ugly Duckling right now. Ugly Duckling, Ugly Duckling. Bueno, bye. Mañana volveré. Te quiero mucho. Te quiero mucho también. Buenas noches. Gracias, gracias, gracias. Get out of here, pretender, clucked the hen. Get out. Get out, Mr. Tomcat. The door was still a bit open, so our poor ugly duckling slipped out the door and back to the storm. No one ever wants me, said the ugly duckling, with a tear in his eye. Oh, that's so sad. The storm ended. Soon he found a new lake. Looking into the water, the ugly duckling saw the reflection of a flock of large white birds flying. He looked overhead and could not believe what he saw. This is why I needed my beautiful friend. Aw, you're too kind, Golden. Thank you. Ada. There, above him, were the most beautiful birds he have ever seen. Their long white bodies and slender necks seemed to be just gliding through the sky. He watched until the very last bird had winged its way out of view. He stayed at that lake all by himself, and time passed. The leaves of the tree turned deep red and gold. It's cold tonight. It is? Isn't that lovely? I love winter. Oh, thank you for the hug. The leaves, oh yeah. Winter came, letting a blanket of white snow all over. Me quiero quedar un rato. Okay, no problema. Por favor, gracias. Otra vez. When the cold wind and the dark clouds made the ugly duckling even more sad. Thank you for the hug, Tenchi. He had to go into the cold lake to fish, but it was getting harder to swim. The lake was turning to ice. One day, it was all he could do was to paddle the water to keep it from freezing. Oh, thank you so much for the hand pat. I am so tired, he said, paddling with all his might. The ice got thicker and drew closer to him. Any moment, two giant hands swept him up. Poor thing, said the farmer. He held the ugly duckling close to his thick wool jacket and took the bird to his home. Never was a fireplace more welcome. For the rest of the winter, the farmer cared for the ugly duckling. Then, spring came. Tips of green covered the trees. Short, bright flowers popped up from the ground. It is time for you to go to the lake to swim again, as you were born to do, said the farmer. He took the duckling back to the lake where he had found him and set him with care on the water. Gosh, I feel strong, said the young bird, flapping his wings. Why, I never felt as strong as I did right now. He heard quite quiet splashing sounds behind him and turned around. A flock of those same beautiful birds he had seen in the sky before landed behind him on the water. "Do not worry," he said to them, holding out one wing. "I will go now. I will not make trouble for you." A big, fat tear rolled down his cheek. He turned to go away. When he opened his eyes, he saw a reflection in the water of one of those beautiful white birds. Was it so close to him? He jumped back, and the reflection jumped back too. "Oh, what is this?" he said. He stretched his neck, and the reflection of the beautiful bird stretched its neck too. "Why are you going so soon?" said one of the beautiful birds. "Stay with us," said another.
Thank you so much for following these heavenly goddesses. Have fun.
Thank you so much for the follow, David. 377337. Thank you so much for the follow. Entre está la otro comprobet y capaz de mundo. Oh, gracias. No necesitas, en serio. Tú viniendo aquí, habiendo a mí, es más agradecida. Gracias. Tú no necesitas hacer eso, pero gracias. Your soul sounds relaxing currently. Oh, Angel Tenshi. Good. "Stay here with us," said another. "We'll be great friends." Then the bird who used to be the ugly duckling knew what had happened. He was no longer an ugly gray bird that wobbled when it walked. At that moment, all of the swans flapped their wings and took off into the sky. "Come with us," one called back. "Take the lead." So he flapped his fat wings fast and took his place in front of the whole flock. All his new friends flapped their wings behind. "They," he said, gliding and dipping through the sky as he sped on. "Who's an ugly duckling now? Surely not I." That's so cute. That's adorable. Oh. Archie, I'm gonna see your son in the stream, so if you can show. Aww. Oh, and Angel Tenshi. Thank you so much. Amazing, iconic, and I'm just super happy tonight. Thank you so much for existing. Me encanta que solo yo hablo español y hablamos tú y yo. No, yo sé. Eso sí está bueno, ¿verdad? Alright, let's read another story. It's rain, not going to lie. This makes me feel too relaxed. I have my salt lamp turned on and listening to you telling stories is golden. That really makes me happy to hear. Hey, my lovely goddess, it's definitely not for me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to sleep. It was lovely having your beautiful voice again, and I'll try dropping by tomorrow's stream. Love you lots, and wonderful and amazing. Archie, you got it. Oh, good night. Good night, Virus. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that the message didn't come through, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Y mi poco de risa, tú es santo en español, pero hablas muy bien. Gracias. Tengo poquito pena, pero gracias hablando español. Yo gusta hablando español. Yo tengo un poquito de pena hablando como así. Porque mi idioma número 1 es inglés, pero número 2 es español. Pero gracias. Thank you so much for the follow, Earth_Laggin99. Appreciate it very much. Let's see. What does it do that? Thank you. Appreciate that. I love all the Spanish I'm hearing. Maybe I should do a Spanish ASMR one day, honestly. Okay, I'm going to read. Yo hablo 3 idiomas. Oh, that's so cool. Eso es bonito. Yo no puedo. Yo estoy triste. Okay, I'm going to read some Milan, the story. Many years ago, ¿cuáles 3 son? Many years ago, China was in the middle of a great war. The emperor said that one man from each Chinese family must leave his family to join the army. Milan, a teenage girl who lived in a faraway village of China, heard the news when she was outside washing clothes. Oh, qué bonito. Mulan ran into the house. Her father was sitting in a chair, carving a piece of wood. Father, she said, did you hear what the emperor says? Each family must do. Yes, said her old father. I heard about it in town. Well, I may as well go pack up. He put down his carving, stood up, and walked very slowly to his room. Wait, said Milan. Father, you have not been well. If I may say so, why at your age must you keep up with all those young men? What else can be done? Said her father. Your brother is a child. He cannot go. Of course, that's true, said Milan. He is too little, but I have an idea. She poured her father a cup of tea and handed it to him. Father, have some tea. Please sit a minute. I will be right back. Very well, dear, said the father. Milan went to her room. With her sword, she cut off her long black hair. She put on her father's robe. Going back to her father, Milan said, Look at me. I am your son now. I will go in your place. I will do my part for China. No, my daughter, said the old man. You cannot do this. Father, listen, please, said Milan. For years, you trained me in Kung Fu. You showed me how to use a sword. Milan swung the sword back and forth with might. Only so that you can stay safe, said her father. I never meant for you to go to war. If you find out you are a woman, you know as well as I do that you will die. No one will find out, father, said Milan. She picked up her sword. Milan, said the father. He tried to get up, but had to hold on to his chair. The daughter kissed him goodbye. I love you, father, she said. Take care of yourself. Tell my brother I said goodbye. She climbed on a family horse, and off she went to join the emperor's army. In the army, Milan proved to be a brave soldier. In time, she was put in charge of other soldiers. Hey yo, woman power! Her battles went so well that she was put in charge of more soldiers. Her battles kept on going well. After a few years, Milan was given the top job. She would be general of the entire army. Not long after that, a very bad fever swept through the army. Many soldiers were sick, and Milan became sick too, the general of the army. When the doctor came out of Milan's tent, he knew the truth. The general is a woman? Yelled the soldier. How can this be? Some called out. She tricked us, and we will not fight for a woman. They said, punish her, make her pay. The cause is for her to die. Well, okay, listen. No. She literally, was making you. She won battles. Like, what the heck you mean? What? That's ridiculous. But others called in voices just as loud. With Milan, we win every battle, they said. Stay away from our general. Just then, a soldier ran up. Everyone, a surprise attack is coming. Let her cook. Milan heard this from inside her tent. She got dressed and went outside. She was not yet strong, but stood tall. She told the soldiers where they must go to hide so they could attack when the enemy came. But they must get there fast. The soldiers, even those who did not like that their general was a woman, could tell that Milan knew what she was talking about. It worked. The battle was won. It was such a big victory that the enemy gave up at last. The war was over and China was saved. You can be sure that after the last battle, no one cared about that Milan was a woman. Sí, yo tengo. Yo pienso uno ahorita está durmiendo. Long war. Oh, wait. The emperor was so glad that Milan had ended the long war. He set aside the rule about being a woman. Milan, stay with me in the palace, he said. Someone as smart as you would be a fine royal advisor. Milan bowed deeply. Muy temprano para dormir. Sí, pero está bien. You are too kind, sire, she said. But if you please, what I wish most of all is to return home to my family. Then at least take these fine gifts, said the emperor, so everyone at your home village will know how much the emperor of China thinks of you. Milan returned to her village with 6 fine horses and 6 fine swords. Everyone cheered that she was safe. The person who had saved China was their very own Mulan. The end. Oh. Okay. Ada, 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 ada. Ada, 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 ada. Oh, Artemis es mi hermana. Ella ahorita está aquí, pero ella no está aquí con nosotros. Ahorita mi nombre es Apala, disculpa.
Thank you so much for following these heavenly goddesses. Have fun.
Thank you so much for the follow, Murray _ Supri. Mwah. No, estás muy bien. Estás muy bien. The next story I have the girl with the loveliest hair in the world. Estás bien. Por favor, dormís. Buenas noches.
Thank you so much for following these heavenly goddesses. Have fun.
Buenas noches. Gracias. Thank you so much. Oh, Dini. Mwah. Thank you. Okay. The next lovely story. The girl with the loveliest hair in the world. Hair. The girl with the loveliest hair in the world. Once upon a time, in a city, es que no quiero dejar esto. Adrian, está bien, pero es venir otra vez mañana. Por favor, agora a ti te dormís. Muy bien. A city called Hindustan. There lived a merchant, sold perfumes, and he had a daughter named Durrani, whom he dearly loved. Hello, spicy Apollo. Hi, yeah, dude. Mwah. 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 Thank you for coming. Buenas noches. Dorian had a friend who was a fairy, and both Dorian and his fairy friend were able to sing more sweetly and dance more gracefully than anyone else in the kingdom. For this reason, they were held in high favor by the king and Raja of Fairyland, and the Raja's name was Indra. Dory had the loveliest hair in the world, for it like spun gold, and the smell of it was like the smell of fresh roses. But her hair was so long and thick that the weight of it was often unbearable. One day, she cut off a shining dress. Wrapping the hair in a large leaf, she threw it in the river, which ran just below her window. Now, it so happened that the king's son was out hunting and had gone down to the river to drink, when there floated toward him a folded leaf from which came a perfume of roses. He opened it, and within he found a lock of hair like spun gold, and from which came a exquisite fragrance. When the prince reached home that day, he looked so sad and was so quiet that his father wondered if any ill had befell him, and asked his son what was the matter. The youth took the trace of hair which he had found in the river. Holding it up to the light, he replied, "See, my father, was there ever hair like this? Unless I can win and marry the maiden that owns that lock of hair, I must stop with it's kinda too much." So the king immediately sent heralds throughout all his dominions to search for the damsel with hair like spun gold. At last, he learned that she was the daughter of the perfume merchant. Rumors spread quickly. Soon, Dory heard of this as also. She said to her father, "If the hair is mine and the king requires me to marry his son, then I must do so. But please ask the king to allow me this, that after the wedding, though I will stay all day at the palace, I wish every night to return to my old home." Of course, their hair was Dory's, and soon the king summoned the perfume merchant and told him that he wished for his father to be given in marriage to the prince. The father bowed his head 3 times to the ground. He replied, "Your Highness is our Lord, and all you bid us do." The maiden asked only this, that if, after the wedding, she stays all day at the palace, that she may be allowed to return each night to her father's house. The king thought this is a very strange request, but said to himself that it was, after all, his son's affair, and the girl was surely soon tired of going to her room. So he made no difficulty. Everything was speedily arranged, and the wedding was celebrated with great rejoicing. At first, the condition attached to his wedding with the lovely Dory troubled the prince very little, for he thought that he would at least see his bride during the day. But to his dismay, he found that she would do nothing but stand the whole time upon a stool, with her head bowed forward, be above upon her knees. Sorry, there was a car making so much noise. Continue. And he could never persuade her to say a single word. Each evening, she was carried back to her house on a covered platform that was carried on poles on the shoulders of 4 men. A transport called a palanquin. Each morning, Dory returned soon after daybreak, and yet never a sound passed her lips, nor did she show by any sign all day long that she saw or heard or heeded her husband. Unhappy and troubled, the prince was wandering in an old and beautiful garden near the palace when he came upon the old gardener who had served the prince's great-grandfather. Damn. When the old gardener saw the prince, he came and bowed before him and said, "Child, why do you look so sad? What's the matter?" The prince replied, "I am sad, old friend, because I have married a wife as lovely as the stars. But she will not speak a single word to me, and I know not what to do. Night after night, she leaves me for her father's house, and day after day, she sits in mine as though turned to stone, and utters no sound, whatever I must say or do." And it's kind of strange, I'm not gonna lie. I could see why. The gardener asked the prince to wait for him. A little later, he came back with 5 or 6 small packets, which he placed in the young man's hand. He said, "Tomorrow, when your bride leaves the palace, sprinkle the powder from one of these packets upon her body. While continuing to see everything clearly yourself, you will become invisible to everyone. More I cannot do, but may go well for you. Interesting. The prince thanked him and put the packets carefully away in his turban. The next night, after Dory left for her father's house, the prince sprinkled the magic powder over himself and then hurried after her. Indeed, he was invisible to everyone else, although he felt as usual and could see all that passed before him. He speedily caught up with the pan again and walked beside it through the perfume merchant's dwelling. There, his bride entered the house. He followed slightly behind her. I love you too, Leanne. Doreen proceeded to her own room, where were set two large basins, one filled with rose oil perfume and one with water. In these she washed herself, and then she arrayed herself in a robe of silver, and wound upon her neck a string of pearls, while a wreath of roses crowned her hair. When fully dressed, she seated herself upon a four-legged stool, over which was a canopy with silken curtains. This she drew around her. Then she called out, "Fly, stool, fly!" What kind of story is this? Instantly, the stool rose up in the air. The invisible prince, who had watched all this proceedings with great wonder, seized it by one leg as it flew away, and found himself being borne through the air, ripping. In a short while, they arrived at the house of Doran's fairy friend, who, as I told you before, was also a favorite with the king, or Raja of Fairyland. The fairy stood waiting on the threshold, a beautiful dress as Dory herself was. When the soul stopped at her door, the fairy friend cried in astonishment. Why, the soul's flying all crooked today. I suspect that you have been talking to your husband, so it will not fly straight. But Dorian declared she had not spoken one word to him. She couldn't think why the soul flew as if weighed down at one side. The fairy looked doubtful, but made no answer, and took her seat beside Doran. The prince again held holding tightly to one leg. Then the soul carried both of them through the air until it came to the palace of Indara, the Raja. The story is very interesting, and I'm kind of curious. It's gonna end there. All through the night, the woman sang and danced before Indara, while a magic flute played by itself, the most bewitching music the prince had ever heard. And the prince was quite entranced. Just before dawn, the Raja gave the signal to seize. Again, the two women seated themselves on a stool, and with the prince clinging to one leg, it flew back to earth and bore Dory and her husband safely to the perfume merchant shop. Here, the prince hurried straight onto the palace. As he passed the threshold of his own, he became visible again. Then he lay down upon a couch and waited for Dory to arrive. As soon as she came, he took a seat and remained as silent as usual, with her head bowed on her knees. For a while, not a sound was heard. Presently, the prince said, "I dreamt a curious dream last night, and as if it was all about you, I'm going to tell it to you, although you heed nothing." The girl indeed did not respond to his words and stayed silent as ever. But in spite of that, he proceeded to relate every single thing he had seen the evening before, leaving out no detail. And when he praised her singing, and his voice shook a little, Dory just looked at him. But she said naughty, though in her own mind she was filled with wonder. What a dream, she thought. Could it have been a dream? How could he have learned in a dream all I have done? Still, she kept silent. Only she looked like one time at the prince, and then remained all day before, with her head bowed beyond her knees, upon her knees. When night came, the prince again made himself invisible and followed her. The same thing happened again as if had happened before, but Dory sang better than ever. In the morning, the prince, in time, told Dory all that she had done, pretending that it had been a dream. Directly after he had finished, Dory gazed at him. She said, "Is it true that you dreamt this, or were you really there?" "But why do you follow me?" asked the girl. "I was there," answered the prince. "But why do you follow me?" asked the girl. "Because," replied the prince, "I love you, and to be with you is happiness." Oh, I wish someone said that to me. I want to find a prince. This time, Dory's eyelids quivered, but she said no more and was silent the rest of the day. However, in the evening, just as she was stepping into her palanquin, she said to the prince, "If you do love me, prove it by not following me tonight." And so the prince did as she wished, and he stayed at home. That evening, when she and her fairy friend flew through the air on the magic stool, it flew so unsteadily that they could hardly keep their seats. At last, the fairy exclaimed, "There is only one reason that it should jerk like that. You must have been talking to your husband." I wish I was the prince. That's cute. And Dory replied, "Yes, I have spoken, but no more would you say." That night, Dory sang so marvelously that at the end, the Raja rose up and vowed she might ask whatever she liked. He would give it to her. At first, she was silent, but when he pressed her, he said, "If you insist, then I request the magic flute." The Raja, when he heard this, was displeased with himself for having made such a rash promise, because he valued the magic flute that played by itself above all his possessions. But as he had promised, so he must perform. "You must never come back again," he said roughly. "For once having asked so much, will you in the future be content with gifts?" This story is low-key confusing. Just dumb. Dory bowed her head silently as she took the flute. She passed with the fairy out of the great gate where those stolen